From ignoring the heck out of Seb to not highlighting the Brazil Grand Prix, there were glaring issues with Drive to Survive Season 5. Here's everything we know. Netflix's smash hit, Drive to Survive, just released its newest season worldwide. And oh boy, did that get fans excited. Motorsport fans spent the whole weekend binging the show, but the issue is, many of them were left a little disappointed once they completed the 5th season. That's partly because the 22 season was, how do I put this nicely? Boring. Because fans were used to the 2021 season, in which Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen fought tooth and nail to win the World Championship. Spoiler alert, Max won. Anyway, since the 2022 season was so mild, it didn't really lead to a good season of DTS as well. I mean, we still did have the cost cap issues and all that, but still, cause the first 4 seasons of the show have helped drive a staggering amount of new fans to the sport, and now there are more eyes than ever on the series. Things really couldn't have been written any better for the producers during the 4th season, when the final episode of the season finished with the absolutely thrilling battle between the 2 GOATs of the sport. But unfortunately, the 2022 season just wasn't the same. On the track, the 2022 season just didn't live up to the hype, because Max was pretty much dominating the heck out of it. And the thing that got fans most excited was the battle for second between Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. Other than that, it was pretty dull and dry. Normally, when talking about TV shows, they kind of come up with warnings about potential spoilers and all that, but Max just wrapped up the championship in October, didn't he? Despite all of this though, the 2022 season did produce enough drama to deliver another amazing season of DTS. But sadly, Season 5 just couldn't live up to that. Now look, I do understand that the show isn't exactly made for diehard F1 fans. If anything, it's made for people who don't know anything about the sport to get them to watch it, cause its entire premise is to lure the market and build something that almost everyone can watch and enjoy. But in doing so, they skipped some of the most interesting and drama-filled moments from the season. But before I start talking about everything that I hated, let's talk about some of the things the show did get right. So first of all, Daniel Ricciardo's brutal firing from McLaren was covered pretty well, and there's a reason for that. Daniel's a charming, funny guy who randomly starts singing, even though his lyrics are pretty NSFW. And cause of that, new fans and even a lot of the old ones just love the guy. So him not being in the season would have been disastrous, and I'm actually super glad they covered it well, cause it was really sad thinking that he wouldn't be on the grid next year. Another thing that the season covered pretty well is Ferrari. See guys, Ferrari built an awesome car and started off the season on the right foot, but then something got in their way. Ferrari. Cause these guys were just absolutely trash with strategy. I mean, leaving Charles out on the field with hards while everyone pitted for softs? Yeah, what were the clowns at the pit wall thinking? So DTS really did cover that well and gave fans some insight into why everything that happened with Ferrari happened. One of the last things that the show got right was the long-running feud between Toto Wolff and Christian Horner. We got to see the infamous team meeting on Porpoising, where Horner told Mercedes to build a better car. And we also got to see just how angry Toto got when he found out that Red Bull breached the budget for the 2021 season. Right, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about everything that the season got wrong. The F1 calendar is a long one. In 2022, we had 22 races that went from March to November, but across 3 different episodes, from differing team perspectives, we watched the British Grand Prix unfold. Like, seriously, we did not need to spend so much time watching what happened at Silverstone, especially since all of that already got a lot of coverage when it was happening. The race saw Carlos Sainz from Ferrari claim his first ever Formula One win, and we also saw the terrifying crash that left Zhou Guanyu trapped inside his car while he slid across the gravel upside down. On a side note, thank you, Halo. The race was exciting, not gonna lie, but come on guys, 3 times? Really? The same issue happened with the Miami Grand Prix. Yes guys, I get it. Formula One's trying to expand into America, cause that's gonna lead to a lot of Benjamins, I get it. But the race itself wasn't exciting at all whatsoever. Yet, it appeared in not 2, not 3, but 4 episodes throughout the entire freaking season. And while DTS was hyper-focusing on these few events, it completely forgot some other important things. One of the most terrifying moments of the season was the Japanese Grand Prix, when Pierre Gasly almost crashed into a tractor during lots of rain. It created a lot of controversies, and it also ended up taking over F1 Twitter. But did Drive to Survive mention it? Nope, not one bit. How could you ignore something like that? Especially considering Jules Bianchi died on the same track, under similar circumstances. But the biggest, the most pressing issue with Season 5 was that it overlooked the best, most dramatic race of the season, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Throughout the entire freaking weekend, the Brazilian Grand Prix produced a lot of drama, and Season 5 just absolutely ignored it. All it did was pass a comment from George Russell, and that's pretty much all. It really didn't delve deep into how fun and exciting the race was. Look, Kevin Magnussen of Haas, the slowest team on the grid, took pole position for the first time ever. And then on top of that, Ferrari was just Ferrari and produced another nightmare. And Mercedes, the team that struggled all of the season, stunned everyone by taking away its first and only victory of the season. While all of that really truly was super exciting, what happened after the race ended was even more exciting. Verstappen kinda exploded on his team and screwed over his teammate Sergio Perez right at the very end of the race. But again, no freaking mention of that at all whatsoever. The last thing that the show got wrong was, and don't kill me, Daniel Ricciardo. Look guys, I love him. And I love that he was mentioned so much, since he won't be on the grid next year. I hate the fact that he won't be on the grid next year. But in the final moments of the last episode, the show was all about him. Here's the problem with that though. Sebastian Vettel retired from the sport, and fans were super emotional and upset about that too. But did he get a farewell? Nope. All he got was a brief cameo. And that's all. The F1 world came together in Abu Dhabi to say bye to the guy. And they didn't even show that in the season. It's almost pretty disrespectful towards Seb if you think about it, cause he deserves so much more than what he got. Fans were actually expecting a montage of him, but DTS just ignored him altogether. And folks, that's the glaring issue with Drive to Survive Season 5.